welcome everyone. This is the Astro Tarot Show. Start that over. Merry meet and welcome everyone. This is the Astro Tarot Show and I am your celestial host, Serrana Rose. Thank you so much for joining me today, tonight, wherever and whenever you are listening to me. We are going to do the astrology reading for the week of March the 8th through March the 15th. Now, we are going into our second week of March, and we are still feeling the energy of that Virgo new moon that happened just on the 7th, which is absolutely was a really good moon. We'll talk about a little bit of that energy. We're still feeling the shift from Saturn as well, moving into Pisces, which is different for him. And I want to say that March is going to be an amazing month. And the energy that we started out with for March was the energy of Venus conjunct Jupiter, and that everybody was talking about that. We all want to talk about Venus, our goddess of love and beauty and pleasure. And when she meets up with Jupiter, the joyous god, of course, they're going to have a good time. And, you know, this energy is very sweet. And sometimes it's like, you ever had some dessert that was so sweet, it just hurt your mouth and it just, it's just too sweet. That could happen. That could happen. And then, she, because she moves a little bit faster than Jupiter. She's already met up with Chiron, and that is going to be some healing energy as well. Now, when we look at planets changing signs, such as Saturn, those planets that have the longer orbits, this is a major thing because he spends about 3 years in each sign, and he is there long enough to truly have us experiencing that energy. But as we're seeing, that energy can be pretty intense, to say the least. So the longer that a planet stays in a sign is the more intense of the energy can feel. And when it moves, we're going to feel that. So as he's spending time in Aquarius, and we talked about that, I've talked about that several times, that was the push-pull. That was structure against freedom. But with Pisces, this is a different energy altogether, because this is water energy. This is the formless. So yeah, we're feeling this energy already. I mean, we are definitely feeling this kind of energy. And when we do move like that into new energy, the ground can feel a little shaky. You can get a little bit of anxiety. You have to look at Saturn, okay? Saturn was in Aquarius, but even though he wasn't at his best there, at one time, that was his zodiac sign. And, he's the old ruler of Aquarius. But when he goes into Pisces, you see, Pisces is the opposite of Virgo, and Mercury is Virgo's planet. So when Mercury is in Virgo, he's comfortable. But when he is in Pisces, he is with his opposition. So this changes his whole dynamic. And it doesn't mean, he is a little weaker, but it's not that he's not doing good and he's not needed. March is it's going to be a month that starts out very calm and is going to end with a bang. It is in with like a lamb and out like a lion. That is the saying of March. Is like, you know, if you're going to have bad weather in the beginning of March, you have good weather at the end, and vice versa. So we did begin this month very beautiful, and I will say, with the many planets that's shifting this month, we're going to feel that more intense energy, because the more planets that shift within a month, the more intense the energy. So this month also, Pluto is moving signs. He's going from Capricorn to Aquarius, which will be an entirely different energy shift indeed. He won't do that until the 23rd, but he is preparing to. That's not too far away. So this means that the power is shifting. When he is coming out of Capricorn, it represents top-down establishments. Now he's going to a sign that represents the people. And here we're taking power away from those establishments and giving the power to the people. So hopefully that will be a really good change. Mercury is, you know, moving direct, and he moves quickly. Mercury, one of his, you know, he was known for his, for being fast. And he makes it through the later stages of, the degrees of Aquarius. And then he moved into Pisces on the 2nd. And again, this changes the mental and the logical energies of Saturn. And on the 1st, now Saturn formed a half square with Chiron, and that is the same half square that Saturn had, okay? So when we had the Saturn and Mercury conjunction not too long ago, Mercury went right past Saturn when he was in the latter degrees of Aquarius before he moved and, you know, moved on. When we had that conjunction, and we're still right now in a half square, both of them are. So we're still feeling that energy. It's like an echo energy is what we're feeling. So Saturn, and this is very much needed because Saturn brings us a reality check. We may have these wonderful dreams, but we also have to understand that they have to be done practical and logical. They have to be grounded in reality. So we need to find that before we go off the deep end, because with that Jupiter and Venus energy that we're reeling off of as well, I mean, that's a strong energy that's feeling, and, you know, sure, they're separating and she will go on, but that energy is one that is like a build-up kind of energy, and we can't go overboard, you know. We got to be careful of that. With the Jupiter conjunction with Chiron, and, you know, Venus was conjunct with Chiron before Jupiter. They both are building up a different kind of healing energy. Chiron, that placement with Venus and Jupiter and Chiron, that's very forgiving energy. That is an energy where you're able to forgive and forget kind of energy. And it's urging you to do so, because a lot of these things that we hold on to will eat us up inside. Chiron is in Aries, and it is about healing the self and about remembering that, you know, we have to heal ourselves first. We cannot serve from an empty cup. And if things are not rightly serving us, then we have to change those things. I will say that with Jupiter and conjunct Chiron and Venus, on that day also the moon was in Aries. So this is a really buildup of energy. And you know, we have the spring equinox coming. So this is a big buildup of energy that we're having and we're going through. And it's, again, it's just building up. We're going to have a wonderful spring equinox, because right after that, like the day after, we're going to have the new moon in Aries, and this is really good new beginning energy. But going back now a little bit, by the 2nd, Mercury caught up with Saturn, and and that's more of a reality check. There's the energy of Venus and Jupiter is all about pleasure, but reality has to come down. I mean, pleasure is a wonderful thing, and I'm always one that says, yes, have fun, but you know, we have to do our work first. We have to do the work first, and then we can relax and have fun. I'm one of those that I want to get my work done. I want to get it over with. That way I can enjoy the rest of my time, and I can do, you know, I can rest, and I can do the other hobbies that I have. When Mercury moves into Pisces on the 2nd, this is shifting the energy, and it's not a comfortable energy. Remember, with Mercury in Pisces, he's in exile, and he's a little confused because Saturn is all about structure, and he's going into the structureless, the limitless, the everything, the all, and he can be a little confused there. He's not lost. He is wondering, okay? Virgo is where Mercury is at home. So it's, you know, he likes the logical. He wants to read the spreadsheet. And with and in Pisces, well, that's kind of the opposite. Well, not kind of, but all the way. Pisces is all about the spiritual. It's all about the intuitive. It is what is felt and not necessarily seen. Now, on the positive side, I will say that this is kind and loving, it's forgiving, it's generous energy, it's understanding, but, you know, it is a confused energy, because things logically don't make sense. So this is saying that, you know, during this time, we're going to have to look at these things that just logically do not make sense. There's too many variables to the story. And that's one thing that throws, you know, Mercury off, because when you're in, you know, Pisces is a plethora of possibilities, and Saturn kind of is, no, we need to tone it down a little bit. Saturn is all about the tradition, is all about the tried and true. And this, I feel, is for me, I feel that it's really good for manifesting. Like if you're trying to manifest dreams and you're trying to achieve goals, this is good energy for that. I do see that, because I do see where it's logic coming into the intuitive part, that part that dreams. Saturn is known as, he is physical, so he is about bringing form to the formless, meaning bringing the idea, the dream, into reality. So right after this, Jupiter and Chiron, they have a conjunction, and this is great energy healing. Again, forgiveness, like I stated before. They have another half square with Saturn coming up, and that will again bring us a reality check. On the 5th, the Sun will have a half square with Pluto, and this is going to be manifestation energy. This is magical energy. It is It is revealing to us that which is healed, that which has been hidden, that which has been holding us back from achieving our goals. On the 7th, we had the Virgo full moon, and then Saturn, not even 49 minutes later, Saturn moves into Pisces. The moon is, the Virgo full moon is squared Mars, and it is opposing the sun, of course, in Pisces. That's all full moons. All the sun will be opposing the moon. That's all full moons. So, but the interesting thing is that sun is midpoint between Mercury and Neptune in Pisces. So again, this is about trying to decipher what is true and what is not, and trying to figure out how we can bring our dreams into reality. And it seems like, because as you see the movements in the chart, you can see that the sun is like pulling Saturn into Pisces, okay? And you can you can see that the sun is really highlighting this Pisces energy. It's really bright in the sky right now. And I will say that, you know, the past 6 years, Saturn has been very empowered. And if we look back at this past 6 years, we can see that the restrictions, the lockdowns, the things like that. But I mean, he's been really, really strong, because before he was in Aquarius, he was in Capricorn. And like I said before, at one time, you know, this is in Greek astrology, Saturn was the planet for both Capricorn and Aquarius. In Capricorn, he met up with Pluto in 2020. So we see that. Also, he had a conjunction with Jupiter. And whatever Jupiter touches, of course, he expands. So when Jupiter is meeting up with Saturn, we're going to have an expansion in those top-down those top-down structures. As Pluto moves into Aquarius towards the end of this month, this is going to create a big shift. Like I said, when these planets that spin many years in a sign, this is very intense energy. So when they move, we feel this intensely. But he will move, Saturn will move into Pisces, and then he'll move into Aries, and then back into Pisces, and then back into Aries this year. And that's going to be his track this year. Coming up, this is for the Saturn is he'll spend 3 years in each of the signs. So he'll be in Pisces to the 26th, and to 2026, I'm sorry. And then he will go on to Aries. So let's move on to the 11th. Venus and Mars, they will have a sextile. This is good energy. This is sweet energy. This is fun. It's romantic. It's love. It's creative. And we're going to have to balance what we want here. In Aries, you know, when Venus is in Aries right now, and when she's in Aries, she's a bit aggressive. She wants what she wants, and she's going to get it. She's going to do what she needs to do. She's very impatient. So through Mars in Gemini, this is going to give her an opportunity to express this. So this will bring a balance to that, express, you know, that energy, that what we want. Uranus is sextile Mercury, and that back on the full moon, that was activated. That's smooth and exciting energy. It's not crazy, but it is smooth, and it's breaking away from the old and into the new. And, you know, that's one thing that we don't really understand, the necessity of release and letting go. and the power in that. The asteroid Sedna that I have talked about, the Inuit goddess, she teaches us that, learn to let go before, don't have to have your fingers cut off before you learn to let go. Transformation happens. So this, this past full moon, this Virgo full moon we have was very transformative. And it is one that transforms us into moving into more alignment with our spirit, our higher self, our higher self, and living our purpose. We all have certain gifts and things that we came here to share with the world, and we must share them with the world. Now, by the 14th, Mars is square to Neptune, and then Sunday on the 16th, then Neptune. So I can see here that this is about creating boundaries. We're trying to create some boundaries here, but Neptune is going to push back on this. Neptune doesn't really like boundaries. Neptune is, he's the Hollywood planet. He is everything. He's illusion. His zodiac sign is Pisces. So he doesn't like energy, and he doesn't like these boundaries. He is this limitless energy, and nobody's going to contain him. So he is fighting back. He is pushing back on these boundaries. So be careful here. This could be a time that you may need to set some boundaries. It could be a time when it could be a very good time where somebody's trying to set some boundaries with you. Keep yourself in check as well. Also, collectively, we're going to see, through this movement, we're going to see how things will come about where, especially when I think of this, I think about the metaverse and how so many people are really connected into that digital world where they forget their own, individual life that they came here to live. They're existing in an illusion, and they're not existing in reality. And that is what those boundaries is for, because Saturn reminds us that, hey, we are in a place of time, and we do need boundaries. But right now, he's in Pisces. So he is wandering, and he's trying to, and he is making some, he's trying to find out things, okay? He's trying to make some sense of things. But there is a pull for boundaries here. It's one of, with the sun and with Mars and then with Neptune, that is one of saying, okay, we understand freedom, but too much of a good thing can be too much of a good thing. There is overwhelmment. There is overindulgence. A lot of people can feel overwhelmed. You have to be careful what you say yes to, what you tie yourself to. That Saturn is the planet of karma. So we have to be careful of what we are tying ourselves to. And this is going to be coming, more of this unfoldment is going to be happening. So this is a big level of unfoldment happening. So we go on, this combo, the Mars and Sun and Neptune, this shows us that there is, especially with the moon, that's at that time, during that time, that day will be in Sagittarius. It will be tuning in with the planets in Aries. So it's like having this push and pull. It's like we know what our goals are and we know what we want to achieve, but are we willing to do what we need to do to get it? because there's always a sacrifice, and we have to be willing to step up and go after our goal. It's going to be uncomfortable because we're creatures of comfort, and we like to be comfort. We like our, we like to be comfy cozy. But when we're going through transmutation and we're changing, we're moving forward, yeah, there's going to be a lot of uncomfortableness. And just because you're having challenges doesn't mean that's a bad thing. That's how we grow. Now, Mars was retrograde not too long ago, and he went retrograde back on October of 2022, and he was at 25 degrees of Gemini. He went back to 8 degrees of Gemini. So, and by the 12th of January, he was back at 8 degrees. So technically, we're still in his shadow. So, he's kind of building up momentum. On the 14th of March this month, he is at 24 degrees, and he is moving forward into the square with the sun, the exact square with the sun on the 16th. So this is going to be new territory that he's going into, and he's going to also, as he's moving through this, he's going to have a conjunction with Neptune. And let's see here. I'm sorry, he's going to be having a square with Neptune. Mars, let's look at Mars a little bit and his squares with Neptune. And this is important because when Mars is square Neptune, it brings a lot of confusion, a lot of distrust, a lot of inaccurate information. It's stuff that you really have to sift through. Mars and Gemini, this is logical, and he's trying to make sense of all this information that he's getting, but Neptune's there, so then we have deceit. So back on October the 11th of 2022, he was square Neptune. And then the second time was November the 19th, 2022. And then the third time that he is square Neptune is March the 14th, 2023. So you see, this is a playing out. This is still a deceit that's trying to happen, but now he is building up energy and he's going into new territory. So things will be different. There will be definitely a different energy there. On the 15th, Mars will be out of his shadow then, and he will begin to be in the range with that square of Neptune. So, and as he is forming his square with the sun, and the sun will be conjunct Neptune. So this will be very, this will tell you, believe in the power of your dreams. This is also about illusion, so be careful with that. It is about spirituality as well, so it could be a good time to get into that, but it's also about being misled. Remember, Neptune has deceit to it. So even spiritually, you can be misled, because there's a lot of people out there that are in the spiritual community that are only there for making the money from it. There's some people that are there to only do that. So you have to watch out for that. So it is the 16th that the sun squares Mars, and then the sun is conjunct Neptune. So this is, we're going to have to be careful for misplaced anger and aggression. We really need to pay attention. Watch your temper there, because misplaced anger means that you're going to be verbally, or I would say not verbally, but you will be having a problem with someone that's didn't do that. We need to learn how to look at the root of the problem instead of just hitting, we have got so shallow as a people of just just judging a book by its cover. You can't judge a book by its cover. You have to look at the root. You don't look at the symptoms of the illness. I mean, when you need to treat them, true. But as you are treating the symptoms, you need to look at why is this happening? Look at the root of it. So we really need to consider that. Look at the root. Whenever Neptune is involved, there is the energy of deceit and illusion, misguidance, propaganda, all of that stuff. We have to really pay attention to that. So that is it of the Astro Tarot show. I want to thank you so much for watching, and please stay tuned for the tarot part. And let's see how all of these energies are coming together. Stay tuned. I'll see you back in just a moment.